I can hear
And
you.
so first question I have is, how come we only have Queens? I thought we were looking at all the counties.
We can do that for Tuesday. Right now, since we didn't have all the since we don't have all the candidates in, and
Hey, Johnny, hang on one second. I can barely hear you. Mama, what's that about the speakers for this?
I have no idea.
Tracy, do you know where the speakers are for this computer?
Hey,
Tracy, do you know where the speakers are for this computer? I can barely hear you.
here.
Can we get them on the speakerphone too? Yeah, put them on the phone. We can put it here and then just put them on the speakerphone. Where the speakers here? I can barely hear you.
It's on the system. Yeah.
So can they dial?
No, I know that, but usually there's a
Josh, does she have them?
Well,
She used to have them.
Craig,
If you bring up the set, we just plug it into the tower that's down there. But we need to set it on speakers.
wait, you know what? I have this speaker here.
Tom.
Oh yeah, now okay. We turned the volume off here.
I thought we were looking at the ballots for the whole city, not just Queens.
We'll be able, I believe, to do that on Tuesday. What we were able to, since John's department is also working on the recanvass right now, we put together what we could, which of course is the worst case scenario, which of course again happens to be Queens. And we wanted it was important, of course, to show the worst case scenario because we hope that everywhere else it could be better than this. It could be one of the things we want to discuss. One of the things that I would hope that we discuss today is one of the paths that we want to go is to give a. Do we want the ballots for each borough to be quote unquote as good as they could possibly be, or are we going to have the worst case scenario dictate the rest of the city?
But all right, what I think my understanding of what we as commissioners want is, as long as there's no races that are citywide that are going to affect any or more than one county, then every county should have the best case scenario for themselves.
Right. I did want to
I believe that this is the unique case this year again. Right?
Yes, it is. It was for this year's primary election. It was for this past primary, and it will be for this general election. There are no crossovers.
So I'm going to say it's safe to assume, Commissioner Shaw will probably agree with me, that that's probably the way we're all going to vote.
Okay.
All right? So you have that starting point.
Okay.
The second one I want to talk about is let's talk about the trilingual 6-column 10-point.
Okay.
Right? Is there any way you can do the trilingual the 10-point and 8 columns? Because Commissioner Michelle has raised a concern that when you look at the judges for the civil county, right, we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Or 1, 2, 3. No, we have 6 candidates racing.
Right.
Then you have the reform and the reform party for at least for the civil all the way at the bottom.
Right.
And that may confuse people, and it might result in an overvote.
We certainly can create a trilingual 8-column ballot, but it will be 8-point font.
Why can't it be a 9?
The if you look at the 8-column ballot, even though it has all the languages on it, if you look at the 8-column ballot, you can see that because the columns have been shrunk to fit the 8 columns, that there are a couple of names that go to the very edges of the candidate boxes, and that won't change if we do it trilingual or whatever it is, because even like the example that I would use, and unfortunately this is a candidate, pardon me? Yeah, Butler, exactly. And she's a candidate. Yeah, I'm sure you guys know that the Supreme Court justices, those aren't the candidates. Those are former candidates for justice of the Supreme Court, because we don't have the Supreme Court candidates yet. But the civil court candidates, those candidates are going to appear on the ballot this year, and that name really dictates the ballot.
I gotta say, you said the Supreme Court are all already designated?
No, they're not. No, they're not.
So the civil is designated.
That's correct.
The civil section of this ballot is what is going to be on the general election.
That is correct. From below the Supreme Courts, those are the names you're going to see.
All right. These are set, right? That is, no, these, everything here. Everything down here. These are the ones that are not set. Right, but do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm just afraid because it says justice for the civil court. Vote for any 3. That first 9, they're going to try to vote for 3 out of that 9, and then go down and look over here and see 3 more, and they might vote again, and then there'll all be overvotes.
I totally understand the concern. It's a balancing act of what is the of what the better answer is here. It is possible that there's a little bit of room here. It is possible, and I don't know if this will alleviate your concerns. It is possible that we can redo the party header above both rows of the judge of the civil court county. That would at least give some space there would be some break to maybe alleviate a concern there. But besides that, I'm not sure what we would be able to do.
Well, that's my major concern. And then one thing on the 6th column, trilingual 10-point.
Yes.
And I think it's confusing. I understand we do it by law, but if you look at it, you go up on the top. You got working families for justice of the Supreme Court, right?
Right.
Underneath you got reform, right?
Right.
Which is blank. Then after it jumps from reform, it goes back to working family or council member.
Right.
See, so it might be very confusing with the 6. I don't know.
No, I do, I do understand the concern. I absolutely do. And this is the way we've always, what I'm going to call, snaked the parties around in the past, where parties go from left to right, and then we go back in the other direction from right to left. But that's not dictated where these parties, which parties these appear under, aren't dictated by law, not to my knowledge. So if it's something that you'd feel more comfortable, moving the 2 parties below in a different place, it's theoretically possible. What the commissioners have always held in the past is that we wouldn't put anything below the Democratic or Republican parties.
That's right. I understand that. I don't think we should change it. Like I say, my major concern is right now is the the civil court, that the names aren't going all the way across, because I'm afraid of more overvotes.
Right.
And ballots being thrown out.
Right.
And I'm not saying that who's going to win or not, but I think we're going to have a concern there. And then I'm looking to the future at the next race, when next time we're going to change the system again and not voting for 3 and in that line. So I try to get it uniform and we're going all across, if that's possible. And I would like to see an 8-point trilingual, either 8-point, 9-point, 8.5, 9, maybe a different font or something. We have done it before. I think it's critical to try to get them all on the same line. If we got them all on the same line and it was a trilingual, we should also be able to shorten the paper in a sense. We might not have to go, this is what, 19?
That is 19, yes.
So if we had going 8 across with a trilingual, you might be able to need less and you might go to a 17.
I believe we will, Commissioner. I believe that that's true. That by going to going 8 columns across and trilinguals, that it almost certainly would be 17 inches. I believe it would be, but at this point with this font, it would be 8 point.
Bobby, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
On the Supreme Court justices, right?
Yes.
After you get to Leslie Purificación, there's 3 empty boxes, spaces. Why does it have to be 3? Why can't we just have the one which would save the place column for the Reform and Women's Equity Party? And then that will allow us to bump up the other ones, and maybe you could make the boxes longer, and thereby possibly making the font a little bit bigger. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. I am what I'm concerned about is looking further down the ballot, what ramifications that would have on the because there's reform candidates for council and for assembly as well. So I'm not sure. Theoretically, those boxes can be removed, I believe. I don't think that that's the issue. The issue is what ramifications. I mean, it's something we could certainly try, and what the ramifications are down ballot, we'll see.
Right, because the part of the problem we're going to have is the public's going to look at this and say, look at all this wasted space.
Yes.
They have the font so small. So let's try to minimize what they're going to criticize us about.
Understood.
Well, look to see if it can be done.
Right. That's the first step, certainly. That would be the.
I have this. Why is always the back? Why is the font always so small when we have all this space? Why can't we blow that up as well? And that's also a concern that people are raising as well.
Right. In these cases, I believe it makes sense to do it because this is truly space that is for lack of a better word, wasted. There's a lot of times there's space, but there's space there because the party needs to appear there, but there's no candidate. And that's something that we can't do anything about. But in this case, on the 6-column ballot, the only reason that space is there is to accommodate the 2 on the right side of the ballot. So theoretically, that can be moved. So theoretically, that space can be eliminated because it is space that's wouldn't be there for any other reason. It's. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right, and each borough right now is going, I don't want to say independent, but each borough is going to get the best ballot they can.
Yes.
And if the Staten Island is going to have the most room and theirs is going to be spread out, we're going to look like Queens has this ballot with all this small print and all this wasted real estate. So if we have because we're trying to do the trilingual and an 8-point or 8.5 and just change the font a little, which we have done.
Certainly.
Even we get 9.5, but if we still have a bunch of wasted space, they're going to say, well, why couldn't they make it bigger? So we got to justify and put it all together so it looks good and people can do it. And I really believe that we should try to get it all on one line because I think we're going to have a lot of overvotes. Okay.
No, I don't disagree with you, but if we're in agreement, and I know that is the committee recommending that we wind up showing both then, both an 8-column and a 6-column, hopefully maybe the 6-column with the space removed, or is there an agreement that we only want to show, you only want to see the 8-column ballot because that's the,
You gotta do both.
okay,
Gotta give them options, especially in light of the fact that we're only looking at Queens. Yeah. So this record, there's not gonna be a real recommendation by the subcommittee.
Right.
Because we've only looked at one county.
right,
So, realistically, I think on Tuesday, everybody's gonna have to look at it, everybody's gonna discuss their own county. We're just saying, we're talking about right now for Queens.
okay,
Because those are the only ballots I see in front of me.
right, I understand.
Commissioner Michelle has a concern, he wants to see, what it would be like to see an 8-column, with possibly a 9 font, and with the other discussion that we had, maybe getting trilingual and getting some of these, spaces taken out. If you can't do that, my question is this: if you're looking at the trilingual with the 6 columns and the 10-point, if you look at the civil court judges under Kevin Hanratty and Joseph Casper, you have 3 boxes underneath them, completely blank. If you got rid of those boxes and just made them one big box, that would probably help the voters see that if you have to leave Michael O'Reilly and Joseph Casper and Kevin Hanratty on that side, that's really like blank.
Gotcha.
See what that would look like.
Okay.
So then maybe that might make things a little bit easier to see since it's delineating. Well, I'm right. If you can leave, maybe like
The note,
those boxes there. Well, you can't shade anything. Am I correct?
that's correct, but what I would,
If you eliminate the boxes, if you eliminate the boxes to the right and the boxes to the left of O'Reilly, right?
right,
If you eliminate the boxes below and on the top of them, and then that looks like it would be one big box with 9 names, they'll criticize us and say, look how stupid they are. Why didn't they put it on top? And we had it that way, but we know the reason why. And
Right. What I believe-
that we've been able to say, look, we got you the biggest fine you could possibly get, which is 10.
right.
Can you eliminate those boxes and just leave it as a big blank like the bottom?
What I believe we can do is eliminate the boxes below. And because the ones to the right are like the party, that I believe has to be there because those are signifying, like if we were to get rid of the boxes to the right of O'Reilly, Hanratty, and Casper, you'd be getting rid of the 3 blank spaces that appear for the Green Party, the Working Families Party, and the Independence Party.
But they can't do anything with it. But they can't do anything. There is no party. There's nobody running.
Right. That would be. We certainly, if we can do it technically, then yes, we certainly can get rid of it. And if that's something that the commissioners agreed to do, certainly we can do it.
All right. You know what? Prepare. See if it can be done in the sense of logistically with your computer system.
Right.
And present it to all the commissioners.
Right. Okay.
Because it's technically only going to affect Queens.
Yes.
As long as it's legal, right? Because for me, I understand what Steve Richmond or legal's going to say. Well, that's a box designated for the Green, Working, and Independence Party.
Right.
Except we have no candidates.
Right.
So if you just space it out and take those boxes out, it's not an issue. And the working for right. Find out if you can do it to the left and the right and give it those little grids and just make it one big box.
Certainly.
Now, if you can only do it to the left, and obviously present one where it's just done to the left, and then one where you can't do it to the right. So we're looking at this, but maybe it's delineated a little bit better. It might aesthetically look better and less confusing.
Certainly.
To the voters. And then we do, and the other one you present is an 8-column with as big as font and as clear as possible. We're going to trilingual, not all the languages.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, and on the other boroughs, we don't have it, but we're recommending you make them as big as possible for their voters.
Okay.
We can't say no and not because we don't see it.
Right. No, I do understand.
I'll try to get in there early on Tuesday. I don't know. So we'll be there early, and maybe we can meet before the meeting.
Okay.
I told Commissioner Casimir and Maria
to see if they could come in early on Monday. So we would have Staten Island there and everybody, hopefully early, that we can go over this.
I would greatly appreciate that. And
I have one question before we get off.
yes,
We discussed the back, right? Was I clear that we try to get that bigger in the back?
the instructions we're talking about. We're talking about the back of the ballot, the instructions.
Yes.
I will certainly raise it and ask to get it as large. You wanted, like, if we could go, if it could be made larger, like going across.
However, it can fit where it's just bigger.
Okay.
That's a big complaint.
Right, that's a big complaint. They don't see the directions. Now, if you do a trilingual with 3 of them on there, you definitely could make it bigger.
Okay. It certainly looks that way. That's for sure. Because you could
Well,
put
here,
the chain.
I'm looking at the one right now, which is 6 languages. All languages.
Right.
Right?
Right.
All languages. And there's space, you got 5, now you're only going to have 3 languages on it.
Right.
So you should be able to use an entire column for just this by
For
itself.
each language, yes.
Right.
Yes. No, it certainly does appear that should not be a problem.
Okay, can you do the instructions landscapes or what style? Portrait.
Couldn't you make it, if there was only 3 languages going on it, couldn't you make it, this is portrait?
Again, I don't see any reason why not, but I'll confirm that. And
And then you could be able to, I'm telling you, if you could go portrait and there's only 3 languages, you probably could go to 14 or 16.
the font size on the back. Okay.
Right now, you have 8, and you got it here, so you just turn around, double, this is 8. Right, so if this is 8 in the back, if you turn around and you do a portrait, you probably could double the size.
Right. I don't see, again, how that would be a problem, and that's what we'll do.
All right.
That is what we'll do. And if there's nothing else, I really do appreciate you guys taking out the time to do it, to do this, and we'll have this prepared for you on Tuesday.
All right, thanks, Tommy.
All right, yeah, you look pretty good on camera, I like it.
I appreciate that, Commissioners. You do as well.
Thank you.
Enjoy the weekend. Thank you.